It's Mark Graham from the original Ghost Walk of York. We're here in the cellar of the Blue Boar in Castlegate, said to be haunted by the ghost of Dick Turpin, whose body was kept here after his execution. I would say it's a great place to visit because you can come down here, it's open to the public, and you can certainly smell, taste and feel the atmosphere of the past. But I brought you down here because it's quite an exciting time. We're now in possession of some old lost tapes. Now, most of the ghost stories in the city of York are centred around a book called Ghosts of an Ancient City, written by John Mitchell and Peter Broadhead. But John, in his lost, they're not, they're here. And thank the instant as we go this few months ahead. But they're full of gems. It's probably the first full recording of Harry Martindale's experiences in the cellar of the Treasurer's house. Now, for those people that don't know, not aware, it is one of Britain's great ghost stories. Harry Martindale was 18 years old when he was in the cellar of the Treasurer's house, when he witnessed up to 20 Roman soldiers coming through the cellar. And he speaks in great detail about them. But what's striking, because many people who are interested in the story will know the story, but what's striking is it speaks about the emotions that it had, because it is, if you think about it, a trauma. And he speaks about the shock, the horror and the fear that he had. He was in a confined space in the cellar when he witnessed this, and that's what it comes across in the tapes, probably like never before. But also there, not everybody is aware that there were other witnesses to the Roman soldiers. And the cleaner, caretaker, who lived in the house, Joan Mawson, it's her story on the tapes. It is incredible that it's never been told before. It's been mentioned in books, but the full recount of her story it's absolutely amazing. Not only is Joan speaking, it's about her stepdaughter who heard the bugle horn of the Romans, heard the body of people passing. There's a little touch about her dog at the top of the stairs that certainly witnessed them as well. But she does speak in great detail, just like Harry Martindale did. So it's worth going through and recounting, hopefully in the future, more and more about the story, the real history that's in there. Because these are the people of York speaking about their experiences. There's not just about the Roman soldiers, there's many more. There's the Theatre Royal, there's the people who worked at the Theatre Royal, there's the whole street of Petergate, which seems to have had a poltergeist from 1950s onwards, and it seems to have resurfaced in various places, and speaks to people as well. We've got witnesses that it spoke to that said, "It's a good day today," or "Get out, you bastard." So quite a catalogue of experiences for people. And I have done some little research since then, and it's still happening of sorts. But there's other families in there. There's the Baxter family of Fishergate. They have poltergeist activity in one of their houses some years ago. I'm aware of people who live there now, but many years ago the policeman was called to the house, and there was water cascading down the ceiling, lights spinning round, and a figure was seen passing through the cellar, through the kitchen and into the garden. We have since uncovered is that they did find a box full of old iron keys, 2 different types of keys. One was late medieval, one was early medieval keys. I believe they're in the Castle Museum now, but whether that was significant, who knows. And there is a wonderful story of the dancing school and the Cole family. When they'd lock up at night, sometimes they'd hear someone in the room where they'd just been, like voices coming across, moving things around, moving coins, as if counting something. The temperature would drop, and sometimes they'd feel in the back something push them. And all these stories are in great detail and fully recorded. But there's more to go through. That's just scratching the surface. But we could play a little bit of Joan Mawson speaking in the Treasurer's house, because it's never been really heard before.
Naturally, I forgot to check if Flanagan had left any floor downstairs for the boilers. And going down, I realised he hadn't, so at that time you had to go underneath this long tunnel.
Yes.
Brick tunnel, which everybody knows now. It's not a coal house anymore. So I had a bull terrier, a white bull terrier of those days, who used to come with me. We got to the top of the steps, and then we went down a few steps and down in the tunnel, and she refused, point blank, to go. In fact, she turned out on her tail and went howling up the stairs. I couldn't understand it, because this dog was so true she'd follow me anywhere. I got halfway through and I realised, I thought it was people up above, horses up above, coming along. Could hear them in the distance, the noise of horses. Not running, not making a sort of a galloping noise, but you knew it was the sound of hooves coming along. And then the next thing was, and this tunnel is, how high would it be? 5 foot at the highest?
Yes, yes. You mean the long one,
Long.
from the old kitchen, the first
right.
one.
Yes.
And then it branches off. You can go right or left,
Yes.
and the
But
bottom's
it's
on the
just
left.
a sort of long arched tunnel.
Yes,
Made
that's
of
right.
bricks.
Mhm.
Down there.
Yeah.
And of course you're bending down anyway to get down.
Mhm.
And I realised there was somebody behind me. And
Well, here we have the voice of Harry Martindale, which I'd like to include now.
There was no announcement. The only announcement that was done was this musical note, very similar to the long. I actually saw it. It was long, but not as long as the postman, and it was rather dented. I noticed it wasn't curved in any way, but it had been used an awful long time. The chap who was just blowing, announcing, well, let's say,
Short, sharp.
but it blowing all the time, but it blowing even when they went through the wall, when they disappeared, I still heard it. Disappeared with them.
And no more came. Just the one.
Just the one party, if you like to bring party, held one party with them.
Of course, you were sitting by now. You'd come off your ladder. You were on the floor, and they didn't look at you or let it.
It interfered with me in any way, I can remember as soon as I saw them, and not one of them looked in my direction, I felt to myself I was safe. Because it's a terrible experience. It's a terrible experience. Once I knew I was safe, I was still in a complete state of shock, all my back to the front. But I remember now, I have been in shock in my own job, where I'm in hair and stuff like that.
That's the voice of Harry Martindale telling his remarkable story. But we'll leave that for now and return home to this wonderful pub. Make fun of him. But others have dared, and others have. So somewhere around here was his body lives on. My name is Mark Graham, and I conduct the original Ghost Walk of York. We go every night, Aiting's Arms pub by the river, which is famous for being the pub that floods. Our aim is to capture the imagination and inspire the mind with stories of legends, folklore, strange tales, ghost stories, all true.